Bridges are a great piece of infrastructure to get over tricky barriers such as gorges, rivers, railways, highways, or even that one you need to build to get over your ex. Bridges connect things and generally make the world a little bit smaller, and whilst they can be significant pieces of engineering, they are relatively simple things to execute. But what happens when you let a group of supposedly the smartest people in a city plan a bridge? This is the University of Queensland, a powerhouse of innovation in Australia, home to brilliant minds responsible for impactful research like the HPV vaccine, a breakthrough that has dramatically cut cervical cancer rates worldwide. As one of Australia's venerable sandstone universities, UQ is synonymous with top-tier education and a fiercely competitive entry process for high school graduates, drawn by its remarkable alumni.
Seeing all the wildlife that's on campus, from water dragons and river turtles to all sorts of crazy birds.
Indeed, it's common to find today's prominent politicians, CEOs, and other leaders who once frequented UQ's student bars, such as this guy with the most unfortunate last name. Beyond its considerable academic achievements, the UQ campus itself is a gem, beautifully situated on the inside of a bend of the Brisbane River, surrounded by well-manicured sporting fields, a serene lake, and abundant greenery. And here lies UQ's own bridge problem, a rather simple one that UQ, in conjunction with Brisbane City Council, was rather easy to solve. Or so it seems. Meet the Eleanor Schonell Bridge, Australia's first active and public transport only bridge. The bridge, named after a prominent educationist in children's cerebral palsy, but everyone calls it the Green Bridge anyway, seems on the surface to be a simple bridge that solves the relatively simple isolation problem of UQ being tucked in the point bar of a river. The bridge cost around $250 million in 2006's terms when it was opened, and it was supposed to provide a better public transport and active transport connection from the eastern side, or what's effectively known as the southern side of the Brisbane River. UQ is Brisbane's second largest trip generator in the city, so the connection is very, very important. But even though the bridge is effective in connecting people across the river, it has a stupid flaw that is representative of the mindset about public transport in Australia. And that is the road across the bridge doesn't actually connect to anything beyond the campus. In fact, the road terminates after coming down from the bridge abutment, where there is only a bus terminal and a turnaround area, which is weird because UQ isn't at the end of the world. In fact, there's quite a bit of Brisbane City existing west of the campus. Today we're going to have a look at why this seemingly innocuous bridge is more than just a minor annoyance, but a massive kick in the shins to Brisbane's public transport strategy, and how really smart people can make really dumb decisions. A lack of bridges across Brisbane's river has and continues to be a hot topic to this day. In Brisbane, the second most common complaint is the lack of bridge crossings across the river, with the top gripe being complaining about people from Melbourne and Sydney moving to Brisbane and driving up house prices. Brisbane has 14 river crossings, and when you include the Clem 7 tunnel, as well as 2 rail crossings, one of which is a tunnel currently under construction, 16 river crossings might sound like plenty for such a wide river, but when you factor in the infinite wisdom of urban sprawl along both flood-prone banks, and the reality that most crossings are concentrated in the inner city, those 16 suddenly feel far too few. With UQ being a large hub of smart people and its fair share of controversial international politics based on one side of the river, you can imagine the large amount of people travelling to and from the campus every day. Before this bridge was built, people on the south side had 3 options to get to UQ across the river. 1. Take a ferry across the river. 2. Travel west towards the Walter Taylor Bridge, then through St. Lucia. And 3. Go through the Brisbane CBD to come from the north. Apart from the ferry, all options involved an immense amount of driving detours, and even more amount of traffic going in and out of this campus every day. For those coming by land-based public transport, the struggle to campus every day was even worse. Even though the campus is only 3 kilometres from a major train station, the last 3 kilometres by bus on the road is of course clogged with traffic. Beyond this, the nearby train station only serves the Ipswich line heading west, and the connection to the southern Beenleigh line was discontinued in 2001. Forcing all journeys east of the river to head in via the city. It goes without saying that all roads in and out of the city at peak hour are basically cooked. To make matters worse, the St. Lucia suburb west of UQ is built out to the last metre, leaving no room for widening or installation of public transit ways. Though of course, a 4-lane road is enough to convert to 2 lanes of bus only. Fortunately, east of the UQ campus, across the river, lies the beautiful southeastern busway I spoke about in a previous video. That quickly and efficiently carries thousands of people every day. Now, no doubt a normal vehicular bridge gets proposed every day, but true to Brisbane's fashion of there being an intense rivalry and classism between the sides of the river, the locals of St. Lucia vehemently opposed a general traffic bridge. Because the poors from the south might come over to, heaven forbid, our quiet leafy green suburb. Anyway, the active transport link would be rather easy as the other side of the river was council-owned land as part of a cemetery and a park. plenty of space for a bridge landing, and then a tunnel towards the existing busway. The bridge would serve as a vital public transport connection that would connect the western suburbs, its schools, shopping centres, and residents to the other side of the river that has Brisbane's current, but about to be torn down, cricket stadium known as the Gabba, a few hospitals, more schools, and the currently under construction station of the Cross River Rail. Sounds great. Let's crack on with it. UQ wants it, the council wants it, and the students and staff want it. No land resumption necessary, as UQ would provide the consent for the bridge on their side and the council owns the other side. Surely there can't be anything to stop this going awry. Well, clearly they overestimated the lengths to which NIMBYs will go to stop things. What could only be described as brain rot from inhaling all the vehicle fumes from driving to the university every day stuck in traffic, NIMBYs seethed at the idea of a road connection to the other side of the river, even if it was only a bus and bike bridge. You see, they were under the misguided assumption that the council really just wanted to build a car bridge, and the bus bridge was their poorly veiled attempt at doing so, and thus rallied against the idea. Hi, just a quick post-edit here. Upon further research, it seems like the council did propose a 4-lane bridge and call it a green bridge for buses. Yeah, that does sound very suspect, but the points in this video don't really change about UQ being silly. Then all of a sudden, UQ joined in with the St. Lucia community in opposing through traffic in the university and community. UQ objected to buses going through the campus and impacting both the campus and residential area amenity, because apparently the daily gridlock of the main road in and out of St. Lucia is more preferable than a few more buses and less cars. How did this alliance form? Well, the St. Lucia community lobbied UQ hard about rejecting this bridge on the grounds it will create too much through traffic. And with the university being heavily tied in with its residential neighbours, having student accommodation nearby, and likely also because they wanted to densify their campus, UQ joined the brain rot and opposed a through road coming from the bridge. When you read the early submissions from UQ to the councils, early bridge proposals in 2003, UQ puts forward the most car brain rot arguments against the bridge.
Traffic from the bridge would impact on 2 kilometres of campus roads and have a hugely deleterious impact on the amenity of the campus and surrounding suburbs.
Because the car parking on either side of the narrow road isn't impacting the amenity of the suburbs already.
The project would apparently require the widening of long stretches of road along the UQ parklands and the removal of mature trees.
No, that's not necessary unless you really want to keep the abundant parking for cars.
UQ roads are used heavily by joggers, cyclists and walkers, and the busway would raise safety concerns.
Do you think maybe the cars are more dangerous to the cyclists who use the road? And no, painting a bicycle symbol does not magically make it a bike lane or any safer. Walkers and joggers already have a large wide pathway.
There is no guarantee the bridge would not be used in the future for general vehicular traffic, or that it would be policed adequately to prevent cars using it in the short term.
We're going to get back to this stupid one.
The council has produced no evidence the bridge would reduce car traffic to the campus. In fact, the proposed thoroughfare would bring people to St. Lucia who would otherwise have no reason to be there.
Oh, you mean like the thousands of cars that cut through other suburbs without any reason to be there, just to get to the massive car parks you built on campus?
The proposal reinforces the view that what the council is seeking is not just to provide additional public transport to the university, but to establish a major transport thoroughfare linking the suburbs south of the river to those to the north and west.
Yes, you are a part of the city of Brisbane, and if you want the benefits of improved infrastructure, you need to play along to enable that. You can't have your oasis in the middle of a city and demand it have the highest quality connections. Those things do not compute. So, how did this all end up? Well, the St. Lucia community got their wish after they pestered the UQ Senate, who looks after the running of the uni, to only support the bridge on the proviso that no through road, not even for buses, be constructed. UQ were able to get the final say on how the bridge would be planned, as the council needed the land that UQ owns in order to build the bridge, and instead of going down the legally and cost-heavy approach of forcefully resuming the land, the council sought UQ's permission to build the bridge, hence UQ's power in demanding a no-through road. Nothing could kneecap this otherwise great project more than blocking major east-west connections through the university. Sure, most people will go to the university, but it just makes a mess and undermines the effectiveness of public transport on the wider scale. And now with BCC's darling metro, not a metro, going to UQ, the terminus station prevents the western suburbs from benefiting from this half-assed metro project. I know this project is an expensive half-assed project, but it's still a high-capacity bus that's semi-useful. Now, when you read the Senate trying to justify its brain rot, you just get mad.
The Senate, in making its decision, had taken notice of the major access problems for students, staff, and the wider community living on the south side of the river, who had to go through the city in order to get to campus.
Okay, yeah, they recognise the problem for the people of the south side trying to get to campus, but everyone else who is trying to go through the campus or come from the west side get on your bike? That kind of means piss off in Aussie slang.
The Senate resolution also called the Brisbane City Council to explain the proposal to local residents and community groups and to consult with local communities in St. Lucia and Dutton Park on the potential impact. And also, there is no cost to the university for the construction of the bridge, bus station, or associated works on campus.
Oh yeah. So you demand how the project will be kneecapped because you bitched out to the community and car brain rot, and you demand to not pay for it, and then you demand that the council do all the work justifying this half-assed bridge whilst you get all the benefits. Talk about entitlement. And worst of all,
The Senate also took note of the severe and worsening traffic congestion on Coronation Drive and Sir Fred Schonell Drive in St. Lucia and supported a truly green bridge to encourage the use of public transport to the campus.
that's weird. How could that be? This campus wasn't that big in 2003 when they approved the new bridge. How did this campus, already with bad traffic, absolutely compound it to create daily gridlock? Could it be that maybe building numerous multi-story car parks all over the campus could have something to do with it? Nah, couldn't have. It's definitely the buses. UQ, all that traffic is your fault. You alone have created what the community is truly worried about, and I get why you're concerned. But if you demand to drive everywhere and not demand better public transport by blocking good ideas, then live by the sword, die by the sword. They should have campaigned for the through bus connection and bus lanes to keep the car traffic to a minimum in their community, because as we all know, building more car infrastructure induces more demand. In the end, the university, with the backing of the St. Lucia community, were able to put into a legally binding contract with the city and the state government that a physical road connection with the bridge to the road network not be created. And if it were, the university would need to be consulted with their approval, basically meaning they can block it again. So after complaining in 2003 that there would be no guarantees the bridge wouldn't eventually become a general traffic bridge, UQ magically were able to put on their big boy legal pants to create a binding contract that guaranteed the bridge wouldn't become a general traffic bridge. Somehow they weren't able to do that in 2003 to guarantee that it wouldn't become a general traffic bridge, but also be a through bus transit network? I don't know how that works. Leaving the students and wider public transport users in Brisbane with a half-assed, kneecapped bridge that was originally a really good idea. In 2006, the bridge was finally opened, creating the newest supposed inner-city bridge in Brisbane for decades. People coming by bus from the west now terminate their journey near the centre of the campus at Chancellor's Place. And for those coming across the bridge, they must now terminate their journey about 600 metres away near the river. So not only are buses not able to drive through, passengers who wish to transfer to head further south or east or west must now walk about 11 minutes further in order to do so. Why buses couldn't terminate at least nearby is beyond me. But yeah, UQ didn't want buses driving through their campus, but their faculty and students clogging everyone else's roads with cars is somehow okay. And even more of a transport planning expert than me, Dr. Matthew Burke, who funnily enough got his PhD at UQ when this whole fiasco was being planned, said in 2003 that this bridge is a major handbrake on the public transit efficiency of Brisbane. Because this bridge now blocks Brisbane's Timu Metro from going to Indooroopilly, past student accommodation, and 4 schools to connect with a nearby train line and Indooroopilly bus interchange. And also, on the west side of the campus, near the Regatta Hotel and the Royal Exchange Hotel, is a major student hangout bar. The stupidity doesn't end there. Now, even the university realised the idiocy in this restriction. In 2017, the university released its latest campus master plan. It's the usual bureaucracy rubbish that is seemingly written by AI with the prompt of fellatiate the university's smart brain ego. But it sets out plans of what they conceptually like to see developed on the university campus in the next 20 years. And what do we have here? UQ themselves have conceptually planned a campus bus connection from the bridge through campus to connect both bus stations. In other words, they want a through bus system. They proposed a through bus system by way of an underground tunnel to go under rather than through the campus. Now, I'm no costing engineer for construction, but I can tell you that a tunnel costs a lot more than routing a bus a few hundred meters to about a kilometer a little bit further east and then building a ramp up to a bridge. Unfortunately, there are no current concrete plans that indicate they will push ahead with this, and I don't think that they will, because before they even think about this step, they're currently demanding more pedestrian bridges to the campus. Talk about entitlement. It was a huge missed opportunity for UQ to, instead of demanding the bridge be downgraded from its full potential, they should have given the conditions for the bridge that a bus lane be constructed to Toowong Station and better bike lanes be constructed around the campus and also to Toowong Station. Brisbane City Council should not have approved so many multi-storey parking garages, as they just induce more cars to drive. But hey, I'm sure UQ's own planning faculty could have told them that. But it's not all doom and gloom in this scenario. The bridge has been very effective in shifting modal choice. They measured modal choice between staff and students in 2002, before the bridge was built, and again after in 2011, 5 years after the completion of the bridge, and it shows some remarkable improvements in transit choice. The staff contingent went from 30% taking public or active transport up to 50% in 2011. And for the students, that shift went from 61% public and active transport to 78%. There is no doubt this bridge has been successful in achieving improved public transport outcomes. It's just that improvement is predominantly limited to those attending the university, to the detriment of all others. So that's a story of a massive missed opportunity in Brisbane and Brisbane's stupidest bus bridge. I mean, it's a great idea, but it's just holding back our public transport with card-brain stupidity. Quick channel update. If you haven't noticed yet, I've got a new microphone. Hopefully it doesn't sound as rubbish as the last one. Turns out the last mic was actually really rubbish, and it wasn't just my settings. There's probably some more tweaking I can do, but I'll be working on that. For the next 2 or 3 weeks, I will be struggling with a bit of work, so video postings could just be reduced to some really short videos or maybe some shorts. But I've got a big one semi in the works for you, so like and subscribe to see what's coming up next. And to my Swiss audience, I hope you learned something about Down Under and the stupidity that goes on down there. So do let me know if you like some Down Under content. If you support me a bit more, then maybe I can get down there for some fresh footage for you.